Hi and welcome to the channel. Today we will build a PC for a subscriber which we will call him as Abacada or ABCD or ABKD in English. He sent me these components. There's also a case. Let's unpack this first. He sent me this one from Hardware Sugar, which is a known PC store. I think this is the RAM. He bought a 32 gigabytes Teamgroup T-Force RAM, which is a DDR4 3200 as well. CL16, which is not bad. And you also bought a colorful SSD, NVMe, and a motherboard. The motherboard is an A520M-K from Colorful. It's my first time seeing one as well. You also put in a bunch of fans and power supply over there. It's a Seasonic ATX power supply. Then there's a smaller bag here, which has a name, dust filter. This is his old motherboard, I suppose. So this is a Gigabyte B450M DS3H. This is the processor. So I assume I would use the same processor to this motherboard. The pack also contains the cooler. This is a stock cooler of, I think it's the 3400G, if I remember the chat correctly. So he also sent a case, which is still out there. So now it's around 12:30 and maybe I won't be able to bring out the case. Depends. So I'll start with the basic one, which is the motherboard, NVMe, and the processor. Using your motherboard box is the best platform for your motherboard. I'll remove this first. Since it's quite sticky, I'll use the back side. Anyway, clean this first. It's also not clean, so we'll clean that first. So to clean, use 99% isopropyl alcohol, cotton or Q-tips or tissue to wipe it out. Okay. So this is indeed a 3400G. So I think I'll remove the fan from the shroud first. There's some just grimes there that you can clean off. It's actually quite tight. Since it actually fell off, still should be secured because I really wanted to clean this. So I removed that to clean this surface. I'll get my vacuum. Just do a wipe to remove the remaining dirt. There's still some dirt in between. So if you have better blower and paintbrush, that would be good. It is important to clean this part, especially if you have the fan pushing air through it. So any blockage to this part will definitely impact performance. Anyway, at least for now, it looks better, a bit better. The shroud can do some cleaning as well. So it's not 100% clean. It's normal that you won't be able to clean it at 100%. Just screw the fan shroud back. Okay. Oh, it broke off as well. So sorry. So sorry, Abacada. It broke off as well. It should be secured enough. Anyway, so time to get the motherboard out of this box. Not sure if he opened this already. Doesn't seem so. Anyway, there's a manual, IO shroud, SATA cable number 2, oh, and the motherboard itself. There's 6 USB 3, PS2, HDMI port, VGA port, Ethernet cable, and audio outs. 4 SATA ports, front panel USB 3, front panel USB 2, ESPI header, front panel audio, front panel power connectors, 24-pin CPU fan, 8-pin power connector, chassis fan, PCIe by 16 slot, and PCIe by 1 slot. So it says here that this is PCIe 3. There are 2 RAM slots, actually not that far from this previous motherboard. Difference is that this motherboard has some cooling for these guys here. I don't know what these are called. So to transfer, just remove this thing and open this latch here. And yeah, just drop it there. For this, I have to remove the original mounting clips. Oh, and it's pretty much rotatable now. It will be like that. So for AM4, best to put one big dot in the middle and 4 relatively smaller dots in the corners. Then just align it to the screw holes of the motherboard. Then screw it 3 turns at a time. And double check. Looks good. Looks good. Just plug this to the fan header here. Next is the RAM. Just push it. There's a storage device as well. Do they sell monitors as well? It's a 128GB model. I think Abacada doesn't play that much games, or he has another drive for games. But this will just be for the OS. Maybe retro games as well. Can play CS2 on this, or Valorant, or League of Legends. Those types. Esports titles, basically. And with esports titles, you also need less space most of the times. I like that Colorful has pre-installed the screw here so that it won't get lost. And we just remove that screw. Plug it in a 45-degree angle. Then push down. And there you go. Most of it is done. Just clean this up. Again, sorry for this blunder. For these screws, you have to keep it somewhere. So for me, the best place to keep it is actually inside this box. Put it here just so he knows where to find it. Manual, make sure to keep it as well. Because if you're going to return it, we would look for the manual as well. So what's next is to install it in the case. Let's get the case. So this is the case. Not sure how big this is, but the panels reminds me of those D21 cases. There's also an extension cable and of course an matx, so it has 4 cutouts for the GPU. The front, there's power switch and USB 3. So let's check inside. But the panels are heavier as compared to those D21s. But looks like it can really hold an ATX power supply. There's a bunch of brackets. There's a handle. Quite cool, actually. And there's a bunch of screws. And the feet as well, if you want one. There's a USB 3, power switch, and power LED. And of course, the power extension cable. The other panel isn't removable. It's fine. I think I'll mount the PSU first. So to remove the PSU mount, you need to remove 4 screws. I assume this is compatible for both ATX and SFX power supplies. For power supply, I think this is the Seasonic S12-3 500. Oh, 550 watts. Quite overpowered for this actually. Anyway, the mount is by default for SFX. So let's remove this. So I think best is to keep this. Oh, they're individually packed. That is surprising. But I think this is everything I need. Then just screw this thing here. Once it's mounted, turn it on. I might need to plug this as well. So these are the original SFX adapters. So just keep it here and screw this here. So don't tighten it first. Flip it upside down. Screw the other side. Oh, this is good. Can mount it after you've installed the PC. No need for this. Still wondering what these are for. Anyway, it's future Manong's problem. Not for now. Put this thing here, which is the IO shroud. I think this is ready to mount here. Wait a minute. So as you can see, there's no hole here. I mean, there's no screw hole here. But the rest are okay. That is weird. This won't fit an ATX motherboard, but the holes are... This is magnetic. Definitely magnetic. Oh, it can't be seen in the camera. But there's this thing here. It's definitely metal. So it will definitely conduct electricity and may cause a short to the motherboard. I'll put an electrical tape on this so that it will not conduct electricity. But for now, I'll just mount this first and continue tomorrow. So I have to go to a hardware shop. I'll close this for now. It's also 1:45 already. It's time for me to get my sleep. Let's continue tomorrow. So today is day 2. I have bought an electrical tape, which was the hurdle yesterday. So let's get back to work. You may be able to circumvent this by adding a standoff. But I don't have a standoff for this, so I'll just seal that up. So this kind of thing will cost you a day of a build. So for example, for me, I started on a nighttime, and of course during nighttime there are no open hardware shops, and given that, it's impossible to finish the build. It's impossible to test the build. So just make sure that it's covered. There is still some magnetic field, of course, because this is metal, but this current won't flow easily. Anyway, I need to deliver this to the guy tomorrow. So I have to finish it today. So again, just align the thing and use screws to secure. There will be a total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 screws. And there, all screwed. Next is to plug that things here. So I have a power switch and power LED. So usually power LEDs are charged. It doesn't say which one is positive and which one is negative. I'll try to place it like so, like this, and just test. So here, 24 pin, 8 pin CPU power connector. Trail route above. Even this is pretty much ready, but of course I'll put in the fans first. The fans that I got are made by Techware. Not sure of the model number. Not all fans can be installed, I assume, because of, for example, this is being blocked by this cable. So one technique that you can do here is to route this underneath the motherboard, which is sadly too late, I believe. Let me just check how good the clearance is here. It's actually good. Clearance is good. Can fit 2 here and 1 at the bottom. Pretty much negative pressure. This will be the case then. No, so there are holes for this. There are smaller holes for this. The bottom you can also mount up to 2 as well. Plug it here and daisy chain it. I'm tempted to route the 8-pin power connector here. Yeah, I'll do that since it's just 5 screws anyway. So just screw back the motherboard. The other fan will be here. So the motherboard actually has a single fan header here. So if you have splitters, it will be better. But I don't have a spare one. There will be lots of tidying up to do. Anyway, I think before I tidy things up, I'll test this system first. See if there's any troubles. So let's get to the test area because I don't have any monitors here. So this is my test area. If you see any dirt here, sorry for that. This goes through my USB hub there, which is shared by a few computers. And I have an HDMI cable here, which will go through this matrix. And of course, the power extension cable, which I always have. Sounds good. It's quite loud. Oh, those are the fans. The monitor is already on. So I suppose, oh, there you go. It's booted. If Habakada wants it to become more quiet, I suggest to get a fan splitter or a fan hub. I guess a fan hub will do. So anyway, let's check. So I have 2 memory here. So XMP is not yet enabled. There's the 128GB M.2 NVMe and the Ryzen 3400G. Good start. Oh, it also lit up. Anyway, time to turn it off. So I'm back in my build area. Few concerning things here are the cables. There's no included zip ties. So the problem with zip ties is that it's not reusable. So in the event that the owner wants to do something, he has to untie it by cutting it out. So even for this cable, right, you can actually route it underneath, but I guess it's too late now to do that. I rerouted the USB cable behind the fan for this cable. Reroute it here behind the motherboard so that the excess cables are hidden. This is a problem though. Can't really hide that. Then for these guys, best to cut them off. Just remove the long ends. So again, I'm not a cable management expert, especially if there are no rails where I could tie them up. Then of course the feet. So I suggest putting in the feet because it's slippery. It's very slippery. So there are some, I think they call it countersunk screw. Pretty much good already. Just give it a quick look here. I guess an iPhone for a scale. So it's not that small.
Anyway, after the build, I took a bit of time in setting up the memory. The XMP profile just didn't work, and so I did some manual tuning. I did it by going to OC, memory OC setting, memory configuration, set the DRAM voltage to 1.35 volts, and the memory clock speed to a preset of 3200 182020. I think this board doesn't support a 162020, which was the RAM specification. As for my comments to the case, well, other than the misaligned screw hole, which is a big negative, especially for first-time builders, I think this is worth reviewing moving forward. The case is also very cheap at 2,000 pesos. I consider this very cheap, especially that 12 years ago, my budget for a case was 1,000 pesos only. And given inflation, it's probably 2,000 pesos nowadays. Definitely a good entry-level case from a price point perspective. Anyway, this was also the first time for me to build for someone that is not a family member of mine. I think I can do this moving forward. So if you want me to build a PC for free, let me know through Discord. If you provide PC components, then I can probably build it for you. I think I can do this once a month. Anyway, that's it for this video. If there's anything, do leave out in the comments below. Thanks for watching. Do like or dislike and subscribe for more unboxing, SFF builds, and benchmarks. Bye!